at least until everything's straightened out. My first stop is Sammy, who gives me a big hug and asks me if we're going home, like Lucas is. Not yet, I tell him. Let's do some drawing first. Is Mommy coming? Yes, I say. She's on her way. The kids' desks are pushed together so that each set of 6 makes a tabletop. Sammy's friend, Spencer, is at the same tabletop as him, and he asks me if his mommy is coming. I tell him I think so. Now let's see those flowers, I say. Since it's the first full week of school, all of the supplies are brand new. The crayons are unbroken, some of them even have points. The pencils are newly sharpened, the erasers bright pink. I can't help but think this was supposed to be a good day. I feel nostalgia for an hour ago when Sammy and I were walking from the subway stop, taking in the sunny weather and making jokes about SpongeBob SquarePants. Look at mine, the girl next to me demands. I compliment her on her flower, even if it looks more like an elephant than a tulip, and I tell her to draw more. A few more parents make it to the class, and each time one appears in the doorway, half the class turns, including me. The kid whose parent has arrived jumps up and runs over. The rest of us go back to what we were doing. Spencer proudly holds up his paper for me to see. Do you like it? He asks. I see a gray blob with a green highlights. It's fantastic, I tell him. Do you know what it is? I'm pretty sure it's not a flower. An alien? I ask. His face falls a little. No. A rhinoceros. His face falls further. No. I'm never gonna guess. What is it? I ask. You, he says. I drew you. Sammy laughs and I tell Spencer extra loud that I love it. Maybe Spencer's nailed it. Maybe that's actually what I look like right now. Since there's no TV, the parents are the only way we find out news. And when they stop coming in, where there are only about 10 kids left in the classroom, Mrs. Lawson leaves for a second so she can see what's going on. Spencer asked me to tell the class a story, and since I can't think of one off the top of my head, I grab the nearest book and tell them about a dog, Cinderella. I try to focus on the story, not on the door, and who might walk through it, because I know the kids are trying to follow my lead. We can hear more sirens on the street outside. Mrs. Lawson comes back and looks stricken. I finish the book and get the kids going on a new drawing project, pumpkin carriages, and I go over to her for the update. She tells me they don't know how many people are in the towers. It could be as high as 25,000, although it's probably more like 10,000. And there's another plane that hit the Pentagon. There could be more, nobody knows. She tells me this in a whisper. Then we walk back over to the kids and try to gather enough orange crayons from the other tables so that they can all draw pumpkins. The world is falling apart, and this is what we have to offer. Spencer's mom arrives and says it took her ages to get to the school from uptown since everything has shut down. She says that Sammy and I can come back with her to the Upper East Side, but that's so far away, and I'm worried that if the phones stay down, there will be no way for Mom to find us. I have to believe she's going to be here any minute. Plus, I don't want to leave Mrs. Lawson alone. So Sammy and I say goodbye to Spencer, and this is the point, now that his mom is here, that Spencer begins to cry. Loudly protesting he doesn't want to leave. School's not over yet. He's crying about the wrong thing, and I find myself almost jealous of that. It takes all of his mom's, promises for Spencer to be persuaded. Sammy can come over later. Daddy will be home from work when they get back. They can have dessert before dinner tonight. Mrs. Lawson and I are so enthusiastic about each of these things that I half expect the other kids to chime in with their own tears to see what rewards they'll get. I hope they won't, because I don't think Mrs. Lawson and I could take it. Eventually, Spencer leaves with his mom, promising to keep calling my mom's office until she gets through. We're about to resume our carriage drawing when an announcement comes on the PA saying that all teachers and their classes should pack up their things and report to the gymnasium. We're going to be leaving the building. Neither Mrs. Lawson nor I know why this is happening or what it means. Since the weather is so summery, there isn't much bundling up to be done. In the gymnasium, the principal gently announces that one of the towers has fallen, that people are being encouraged to move north of 14th Street. Because of this, the administrators have decided to evacuate the building and move everyone to another school on 17th Street. It's only a 12-block walk, and everyone is going to stick together. The school secretaries will stay in the office to field calls, and the guard will stay in the main hallway, so if any parent or guardian comes by, he or she will be directed to the new school. He also adds that transportation and communication in the city are extremely difficult at the moment, so if our parents haven't arrived or called, it's probably not for lack of trying. I'm still upset with my mother, though, and scared. "If you ever lose me," I remember her saying when I was little and we'd go to a department store, "just let one of the sales ladies know and they'll take you to where I can find you." Even though I'm 17, I guess I still thought this would always be true, that there would always be that lost and found, not the lost and still lost that I am now trapped inside. This principal does not ask if anyone has any questions. He tells the classes to line up behind their teachers and starts releasing them, oldest to youngest, into the hallway and out the front door. Each teacher has been assigned another adult, a custodian, an aide, or a volunteer parent to help keep everything in order. I look over to the first graders and see that Marisol is there with her sister. There's no way we're going back to the high school building, and nobody seems to think it's odd that we're here. We catch each other's eye, and I almost wave. We have a kinship now, as thin as a thread, but permanent. One of the towers has fallen. When it's our turn to leave, it's like something in me is finally willing to listen, and suddenly I understand what it means. The tower doesn't exist anymore. Something I've seen my entire life, something so much larger than my entire life, is gone. That's my first reaction, and then I think about all the people inside. There must have been people inside.